Hi, I'm Midge Shoemaker, and this is week 32 of my doing 100 weeks of YouTube videos and focusing on living a healthy and happy life. So, yay for week 32. So I've got my list of goals. I will go over again my financial, mental, um, social, emotional, spiritual, and physical. So, yay, those are my goals. So I'm going to start with physical because and all of these kind of overlap with each other, so I will probably overlap quite a bit of them. But so physical, I actually got up early enough, got out of bed, and exercised 4 out of 5 days this week, like Monday through Thursday, which is amazing. I don't remember the last time I did that. So I think that helped me to feel better. Also, my blood pressure was going down at work because I got it checked on Tuesday and it was lower, and Thursday was even lower. It's still high, but it was lower. So, because it was like 158 over, I don't know, 98 or something when at the doctor's office a week ago, and then Tuesday it was like 148 over 92, and then Thursday it was 138 over 88. So going down, positive things, and I think that's because maybe part of it I was exercising, so that makes me very happy. Also, I went for a walk Thursday night, very long walk. I was actually pseudo being social, but mostly I had cheesecake I needed to get rid of, so I went for a walk. I think my bishop's like, what is he, 4 blocks from my house, so I walked to his house and dropped it off, and then I walked back, and then I saw my neighbor that lives 2 doors down, and so then I came back to my house and then went back over there to give her a cheesecake. And then Friday I went 2 doors down a different direction and gave someone else a cheesecake. Got rid of all my cheesecake that way. So Friday I didn't exercise before or after work, but I did go Friday. I did stand for like 2 hours. No, for an hour, at least an hour. It's been a long time since I've stood on my feet for like an hour playing pool. I don't know if playing pool actually counts as exercise, but I think standing and kind of walking around for an hour kind of maybe does a little bit. Just talking about exercise. And then when I was in the temple Saturday, I was trying to get myself to go up and down the stairs. I only did the little stairs that goes down to the dressing room and back up, because the big stairs that go all the way up to the top floor, there's too many of those, and I do not have the energy or the power in my legs to get up or down those stairs. So I always take the elevator to the top. But the other stairs I take down to the dressing rooms. So that would be the amount of exercise that I did. I didn't really do any other exercising this week. I would say I did fairly good about eating healthy this week, but I did go out to eat Friday night because I was celebrating my son's 17th birthday. I cannot believe he's 17. His birthday was actually like before that, but that's when we went out to celebrate. So anyway, I ordered some food at a restaurant, and I think there was something in the sauce on the sandwich that might have had some dairy or some cream in it, because it kind of tasted like that when I was eating it. And I was like, this just doesn't feel right to my stomach. It doesn't feel right. I was like, there's something not right about this, but I ate it anyway because it tasted good. Dairy, of course, tastes good. But then I woke up on Saturday and my lips were a little bit swollen, and I had a migraine, and I was like, might be having a little bit of an allergic reaction to something that I ate the night before. So it's because I have a slight allergy. It doesn't always kick in, but I think the more my body digests it and it moves through my system, it's like, we don't like this. So, and the older I get, the more I have reactions like that. So I was just like, and I'm like, I didn't even eat a lot of it, but there was some of it, and I guess there was enough that my body didn't like it. So another reason why I do not eat dairy, and I just do not eat dairy. Seriously, this is why. But anyway, I did have fun, but it is a reminder as to why I need to pay attention to what food I put into my body and how my body responds to that food, because eating things that my body does not like, that it rejects, it will either turn it into fat, or it will make me feel sick to my stomach. It'll make me feel kind of depressed or lack energy. just kind of blasé, or, it'll do random things like make my lips puff up or make me break out in hives or give me a migraine. So these are things that they're not fun for me. And paying attention to my body and paying attention to how it responds to the foods that I choose to eat helps me to kind of do better when it comes to eating food, because then when I look at food, I'm like, oh, that looks yummy. And then I look at the ingredients, or I think about what it's going to do to my body. I'm just like, and I'm not going to eat that. So, like somebody brought in goodies on Friday to work, and I was like, then I'm not going to eat that because that's just not good for me. So, and I know at one point in my life, I used to eat all of that stuff and I didn't care. And I think I just got so oblivious to how my body was responding to things. And I didn't have as bad a reactions as I have now to having dairy. I still had reactions, but I didn't have as bad of reactions. And I probably wasn't as aware of those reactions because I just thought, I was having a sugar crash, or I just didn't, feel so good, or I just didn't occur to me that it was the food that I was eating. Plus, I think younger metabolism, my body just handled it better. But I think I got to a certain point in my life and my body's like, and we're done. Like, we've been tolerating this for so long and we're done. It's kind of like my emotions, where I put up with something for so long and then I'm just like, okay, that is the straw that broke the camel's back, and I am done, and I am going to explode now because I can't take it anymore. I think my body kind of did that with dairy. It's like, you've had enough. You've never liked this stuff. It's not good for you. And now we're going to, make the consequences worse. So, yes, worse consequences mean that I am more likely to stay away from dairy. I've done pretty good at staying away from dairy, actually, for over a year now. It's been fantastic. It doesn't mean that I still don't wish I could have some, but yeah, I have reactions like that Friday night, Saturday morning, and I was like, nope. And that wasn't even intentionally eating anything, because I told them not to put cheese on the sandwich. I told them not this, but I just didn't ask what was in the ingredients in the special sauce. So, and it might have been the special sauce, or they might have put butter on the bread and I didn't realize it, or something like that. I never know what they do with that stuff. So, shouldn't be doing that. So I'm going to jump to socially, because socially I think I did stuff, because obviously socially I gave pies away, cheesecakes away, actually. Took them to my neighbor, took them to my bishop, took them to another neighbor, posted things on Facebook about, pictures of the cheesecake that I made that I gave to my son. Spent, Friday night with my son, so had some fun with that. And I did go to the temple on Saturday and did my little calling, and I did go to the church on Sunday. So those are all good social things. I don't remember. Oh, and there was an activity Wednesday night that our Relief Society did for church. And it was kind of a get together and meet people, and we got little pens with flowers on the top of them, and I gave one of them away to somebody at work, and I grabbed some for other people, but I don't think they want them. I don't know what to do with them, but I have them. Might give them away to more people at work. But anyway, so we did that. It was a nice little gathering. They fed us food, and of course I tried to eat food that I could have there. I picked out the stuff that I could have, and I had quite a bit of what I could have and just didn't eat the other stuff. And some of it looked really good, but I was like, I'm pretty sure there might be dairy in that, or there might be dairy in this. So I'm very particular. And of course that makes it easy to stay away from desserts, because most desserts are made with milk. It's a given. If it's a dessert, it probably has milk or butter in it. So anything that doesn't have either of those ingredients in, I may be able to have. But so I did go to that activity. So I was trying to just put myself out there and be social with people. So there's that one. And then let me see. So emotionally, I didn't do a very good job with my kitchen and doing dishes. That's on my top of the list. One of these days I will get my kitchen cleaned, and then I will move on to something else to do. And I get so close, like with my kitchen counter, and I make all this progress. And then I made like 4 cheesecakes in my kitchen. Well, I was basically the batter for 2 cheesecakes, but I used up all of my mixing pans and my pots and pans and doing things, and I just haven't done all of the dishes from all of that. So it was cool because I had this big old space. So I'm like, cool, I made muffins and I made cheesecake and I had all the pots and pans and mixing bowls to do it with. And they took up my entire counter, and now I have to do all of those dishes, which I have not done. And in part, I did not do it because I did not feel good all weekend, because after Friday night. Saturday and Sunday were just a little bit not so good. Took that long to get that stuff out of my system, a couple of days. I also didn't eat much on Sunday. I waited all day so I could just let whatever's in there just flush it out and just drink water all day. And I felt much better by the end of the day. So that was fantastic. Also grateful it happened on a weekend, so I didn't have to miss work or be miserable all day at work. So that was very nice. But emotionally, I felt pretty good because I got to go spend some time with my son, because I went to go do social activities and be around other people and talk to other people, and convinced my Brazilian friend to send her resume to my boss at work. But then my boss got sick, so she hasn't, I don't know if she's gotten the email from my friend, because I think she sent it on Thursday, but I think my boss was in the office on Friday, so she might have got the email Friday. But then she's been sick this week, so I don't know. Anyway, I don't know if, no, because I saw her Wednesday night and she still hadn't sent the email to my boss, and I was like, send the email, send your resume, send your application, do this or you're not going to have a job, because they're interviewing people. So she sent it, I think Thursday. She sent me a text message saying she sent it, and my boss is out of the office. She was in the office, I think, on Friday, but I don't know if she saw the email. I don't know if she responded to it. I don't know if she set up an appointment for it. So, but I, trying to get my Brazilian friend a job if she wants it. So emotionally, making my videos. I did okay with my videos until the weekend, and then I didn't really. Weekends I really have a hard time with. I don't know what it is, but it's like the weekends. It's like, yay, permission to be totally ADHD and do absolutely nothing. And then come Monday, I just feel terrible because I had all weekend to do all of these things to be productive and feel good about myself, and I did nothing. So I need to do something with my weekends, because that's pretty much how I feel. And even though I had a valid excuse because I didn't feel good and I had a migraine and I, had to take Benadryl and do all that stuff, I was like, yeah. And I did go to the temple and I did go to church. So I did all of that in spite of not feeling well. And I went to my 12-step meeting, and I went to my parents for dinner. So that was nice. And their daughter asked me about my book and how the editing thing went. And I was like, oh, I got the edit back, and I got offered a publishing deal, which I did send an email and say that I would accept it. So now I just have to wait for the contract. So got to figure out all of that. Plus I need to go through all of the edits that were sent to me so that I can, send that back to get it actually fine-tuned and published. So I'm excited about that. So emotionally just very excited about the whole book thing and everything else coming out. And very excited about that. Looking forward to those things popping up. Also kind of socially and kind of emotionally and possibly financially. I was supposed to meet with some people on Sunday, which is probably the only motivation I had to go to church, because I stayed up too late and didn't feel good. But I went, and I ended up not meeting with any of them, so that was not fun. It wasn't my fault. I mean, it kind of was, because I saw one of them. I had a name, but I didn't have a face to go with the name, so I didn't ask the person that I thought might be the person. I didn't ask the person that I saw if they knew the person, and it turns out that that was the person that I was supposed to talk to. So I haven't figured that one out yet. And I was supposed to meet with someone else about my tooth, but they were unavailable because they were sick too. And I was like, man. So I still have to figure out something to do with my tooth, which is not fun. And I did pretty good with my scriptures and meditationals. I kind of flopped with my journaling on the weekends. Plus, I was having issues with my wrist, which is a physical thing that I have an appointment for coming up next month, so I can get that looked at and maybe get some other physical therapy or something to help it feel better. So let's see. Ooh, and I called my attorney. That's a financial thing. I'm going to jump to financial things. Because financial things, trying to pay all of my bills, and then I called my attorney, and he does have the money finally from the car accident from February, so I'm going to go pick it up next week. So I kind of felt like it was okay to spend my savings to go do stuff with my son, because I didn't have to hold on to it, which I probably still should have, but it was still fun to go do stuff with my son and not have to worry about how I was going to pay for things. So that was kind of nice. but I still have to come up with the money to pay for all of my bills, and it's going to come out of that if it doesn't come out of my paycheck. So there's still more of those things. Basically, still living paycheck to paycheck, and spent whatever extra money I had to go buy extra ingredients to make the cheesecake that my son wanted, and also to go spend time with my son. So extra gas money and extra, because I usually only go out once a month, and I went out twice because my kids both have birthdays in March. And I was like, of course you do. 5 days apart, of course. But I saw them like 2 weeks apart, but it's still, that's an extra amount of gas that I have to pay for to go out and back. So extra gas money, extra grocery money for extra things that I didn't really have extra money saved up. And the extra money that I did have, I spent on editing my book, which I think was a good thing because now I'm going to get a publishing contract. So I'm excited. So that's where I'm at with those. So, yeah, I think spiritually kind of falls into some of those things, and just, like I said, I went to the temple, went to church, already did that, went to the church activity, so that was a good thing. Did pretty good at reading my scriptures and meditationals in the mornings for work. I just, not so much on the weekend. I actually did it on the weekend, surprisingly enough, even though I didn't feel good. I don't think I did it Saturday, but I did it Sunday. So, I actually did pretty good with those things in spite of the fact that I didn't feel good, so I'm very proud of myself for that. So yeah, and then, no, I think maybe I did it Saturday too. I'm trying to figure that out. Anyway, let me see. So that was spiritually, and then I did socially, emotionally, spiritually, physically. Hey, I'm done with that side. So I kind of brushed up on financially, so that just leaves mentally. So mentally, I did spend a couple of days this week working on my book, because that's kind of creating something and just kind of going through the reviews and edits and thinking how I was going to get it all done this week. And then because I went to the activity Wednesday, I didn't do it. And then I don't know what happened Thursday or Friday. I don't have any. Well, Friday I went out with my son, and then I was just exhausted because I stayed up all night Thursday making cheesecake, which is why I wasn't editing my book. And so Thursday and Friday I didn't work on it, and then Saturday I just didn't feel good, Saturday and Sunday. So kind of didn't get as far along with it as I would like to, but I did get through the first 7 chapters of a 22 chapter book. And so I need to finish getting through it so that I can sign the contract and send it back with my book and everything that's in it, and just be like, okay, we're ready. But there is a question that she has in there that I'm still kind of up in the air trying to figure out what to do with. It's a terminology for my book, and I kind of just like the terminology that it was, but I can see where it can be confusing, and trying to find another word for it, and there just doesn't seem to be one that seems to fit, so it's a little bit frustrating. But it's, it's a mental exercise to try to figure that out, to try to sort that out. And also, I think going along with physically and mentally trying to figure out medications and other such things. So I did run out of the ADHD medication that I had before that I cut half and wasn't supposed to. And I was able to go pick up the ADHD medication so I could try it. I think I took it on Saturday, but I didn't take it on Sunday because I just wasn't feeling good Sunday, and I just didn't want to put anything in my body. I just wanted it to just flush out whatever was in there. So I'm not really going to know how it reacts or what it does until next week. And then I will have to give it a go. And then hopefully in the next 3 or 4 weeks, I will be able to go figure it out, and then be able to tell my doctor what I need and what I want and what works, and then go from there. So that's what I have for that. So I think kind of mentally it's that, it's physically, but also it's mentally, because taking the ADHD medication mentally changes stuff in my brain. It, I guess, chemically changes stuff in my brain, but it mentally helps me. It's meant to help me to focus. And so I'm trying to mentally be aware of how I'm responding to things, how I'm reacting every day, if it's better, if it's worse, if it feels like it's making a difference or not making a difference. Also, am I having any side effects? Is it making me queasy and sick to my stomach? Am I losing my appetite? Things like that I was having with the other stuff. So it's kind of that trying to pay attention, like mentally paying attention to myself and to my body and to how it's reacting to what I'm doing. And that's not something I'm used to doing. So that's just a huge mental exercise for me. Plus, getting out of bed and exercising every day is also mentally getting myself to get out of bed. Just, to me, seriously, I think it's a mental thing. Like if my brain's like, I'm not getting out of bed, I want to daydream, I want to go back to sleep, I'm too tired, my brain has a lot more control than I want it to. And sometimes I think there's just like a disconnect between what I want it to do and what it's actually willing to do. So the idea is that the ADHD medication is going to fix the disconnect. So where I have the ideas of things that I want to get up and do, now I can get up and do them. Or hopefully we'll be able to get up and do them because that's what the medication will do. And also hopefully it will still let me, go to sleep when I need to go to sleep. And it will let me, do what I need to do without feeling like I'm wasting all of my time. But also I still want to be able to feel like I can be creative and still do the things that I enjoy doing and still be able to interact with other people and not feel like numb or, hyper focused or whatever. So it's a balancing game for anybody that has ADHD, that's ever taken medication. And it's certainly not fun trying at my age to do that, especially when the first dosage that I took was like such a drastic change. And I was like, and I don't know how to function at this level because I've never done that before in my life, like ever in my life. So it's a lot easier if you can train your brain that when you're younger and you can teach it how to do that. And build those synapses and help it to get where it needs to be versus, being an adult and going back and saying, hey, let's do this. Then it's like, oh my gosh. And I don't handle change well, probably because I have ADHD, probably because I've had PTSD, and probably because we as humans just don't handle change well. It's just in general. So anything that has that drastic of a change, and it's just hilarious to me because I always want the overnight change, the overnight fix. And then I take a medication that sort of does that. And I was like, just kidding. I was like, that's too much. That's just way too intense. And I don't know how to handle this. So it's definitely God showing me that I need to just build up to it. And that it's okay to take a lower dose of medication if it has the effect that I need it to. If it's helping me to focus on what I need to do and still feel like I'm being able to make choices and decisions and feeling like it's just filling in that gap where I can get up and do stuff. I can turn off the TV. I can turn off my phone. I can not get on my phone in the first place. I can just follow through with those things and not, because I just talk myself out so easily. All it takes is like 1 second, like, oh, I don't want to, or maybe tomorrow. And then it's like almost impossible to convince myself to just follow through once I have that thought. So mentally trying to push through the negative thoughts, mentally trying to pay attention to myself and to my body is a huge challenge for me. And even taking medication and then mentally trying to pay attention. Is the medication working? Is the medication not working? Is it the medication that's helping me? Or is it just the other things that I'm doing in my life that are helping me? And I'm not entirely sure I know the answer to that one either. So it's a process. So I feel like mentally just challenging myself in general with all of that. And like I said, but taking medication affects me physically and so other things too. So it's just all of these things kind of roll into one. But I have noticed that I'm just a lot happier. I've been a lot happier just because I've been doing things, because I've been taking care of myself. And I felt so much happier getting up and exercising and having more energy and just being like, I can do this. I can do this. And it makes me feel good to be able to spend time with my son and to go to activities and do things and be like, okay, I'm doing this. And it's hard, but I'm doing it. And then I feel satisfied that I'm doing something and it's rewarding to me. And it's not always the instant gratification or reward that I like, but I like doing the daily videos to share what I did that I didn't want to do or that was challenging for me. And that makes me happier to do that and to see the progress that I'm making. And making these videos makes me happy to see the progress that I'm making. And I forgot to stand on my scale Friday morning. And when I realized that, I'd already had something to eat and drink, and I decided I would just do it on Saturday. And I'm pretty sure I was already dressed when I stood on the scale on Saturday. But it went up to like 234, and I was like, that's not nice. And then I stood on the scale on Sunday, and it was like 232. And I was like, it's supposed to go under 230, not go back up again. So I'm not sure if it's because I was exercising and like, muscle weighs more than fat kind of a thing. Or if there's some other reason. I don't know. But I do feel like my pants are getting smaller. They're actually getting loose. My pants that were super tight and I couldn't wear are now actually getting loose. So they're actually pretty comfortable to sit in. And they're actually pretty loose when I'm standing up and walking around. They feel like they're going to slide off of me. They don't, but they kind of feel like that. They're just really loose. So I feel like I'm losing weight or inches or something, but the scale's not going down. My body is reshaping itself. So that's probably a good thing. And eventually my scale will catch up to that, I hope. So anyway, that's all I have for this week. So if you like these videos, you can hit like, subscribe, share with someone else if you think they'll like it too. And I hope you have a great week full of gratitude and maybe find ways to live a happy and healthy life too.